this time. Can anybody hear me? Apparently I'm live, but the last stream I did, the audio wasn't working, and I have no idea if it's working now. And nobody's here to tell me if it's working. That's the miracle of the internet. So hopefully I'll give people a few minutes to, can you hear me? The person that is here. Hey, some dude. Daniel, what's up? Tell me if you can hear me, Daniel. Oh, dude. Can you hear me first of all? Somebody give me a, like, yes, I can hear you. Oh, man, that's great. All right, cool. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for migrating over to take two. What am I drinking? Well, I wanted you guys to help me pick because I have an Apex Predator from Off Color, and this is like a Saison farmhouse ale, and Lagunitas Hazy Wonder. What do you think? The crazy can or the white and black can with a cool Predator on it? Pick 1, 2, 3, because I'm thirsty. What are you guys drinking? Daniel and some dude and Misker and Ron Mexico, Just Yum. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys, on a short notice. Predator +1. Drink them both. I think I could probably do that. Let's do it. And cheers to you guys. Thanks again for coming to hang out. I'm going to drink a beer, chill out. Seems like the world is still a crazy place, but maybe people are feeling better about it. How are you guys feeling? And cheers. I've got, let's get drunk. I've got a couple things to talk about, leather stuff, but like nothing serious and no agenda. I thought it'd be just fun to show up on camera here. I've got a new product that I want to show you guys. I've got my new wallet that I've been wearing for the last couple of weeks that I've been really enjoying. I've got this wallet that's made out of a leather you've never seen before, and a bunch of like here, I guess this camera moves, right? So I've got this table full of stuff that is just like stuff I have at home. So we can chat about anything you guys want. We just had a lot of I did a lot of work with the team putting out flash sales for Father's Day. So hopefully you guys are celebrating Father's Day with a new wallet for maybe yourself or maybe for your dad. It was pretty fun for us to make all these random things and put them up on the flash sale page. And I enjoyed it until there's been a few people that have been angry. And it's kind of a bummer because the world has different time zones. So people, when they receive a message that things are in stock, they might be in Singapore and get really angry at me that everything's sold out. And it's just like, I don't know what the answer is, but there are people have been messaging me like actually upset. And I think I just got to let it go. But people think that I'm lying, that these products don't exist and that I just put things up that are sold out. But I know a couple of your names in here. I know that some of you guys have actually picked up some of them. So it kind of sucks that I can't make everybody happy, but I'm trying. That's the best I can do. But anyways, did you guys like the idea where we put up rando, like one-off cool things that I liked and just kind of had fun with it? Because I think the idea that I'd like to continue with on the flash sale page is to try to put up stuff that nobody's ever seen before that excites me. So part of the reason they started doing the Ashland stuff was I just loved the leather so much and I wanted to experience it. You know, kind of like this Dublin Johnny the Fox. I really wanted to see how this one wears in, so I made it. And we had a Dublin wallet for a couple of years, but we never did it with a Dublin on the inside, which was actually tough. It was really hard for us to get like a thin leather for this. Is like super, super custom that Horween like doesn't want to do. So now I have it and like selfishly I get to look at it. So for me, this was fun to do. I made a small batch and like offered them up on the site. So I like that idea of being able to do things that excite me, because I imagine most of you are in the same boat where it's like you're into this material too, and you just want to see crazy cool new stuff, or even like a clean, like simple look. I think this is not to be forgotten. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking about putting up, it'd be cool to do it like every day, have like one thing that's like new, and one person can get it, but we all get a chance to like look at it, and I'll include it in the videos and stuff. So I kind of like to go that direction and be curious to hear what you guys think about doing more fun one-off things up on our site. And there's some more people here. Some dude, yeah, people want the product, and it's like a good problem to have. I just don't. I think I take things a little personally with, it's like a company that I started. So I take it a little personally, like upsetting people. I just hate it. I don't like bumming people out. But you can't make everybody happy, right? Anytime I see black marbled and gator in the Western prints, I get excited. Me too. I just want to see cool new stuff. So it's fun. I try to make it fun, and it's crazy. There's a team of 8 of us now, and I'm absolutely like the worst person there. Like, I'm the least skilled of my team, which is probably good, because everybody's so good on the team right now. We have like so many talented people just making cool stuff, and it feels like my role recently over the last 6 months or so has been more to like, sail the ship, like to get it in front of more eyeballs. So it's kind of fun for me to do that. I've been missing crafting stuff a little bit. But I also have like these guitars behind me that sort of fills that void of like creativity, like coming up with leather combinations and stuff and new designs that we're doing. That's fun for my creativity. But like, as far as crafting things, my team is so good. They're so good. And they're faster and better, and just like so much better than me at everything. So that's kind of an interesting change that's happened. Yeah, the service thing I take very seriously, Daniel, which is why, like, when I bum people out, I hate it. I don't like bumming people out. So think about it this way: is there's a guy in wherever country, Asia, that's in a totally different time zone. So when I release a special deal at noon my time, it's midnight for him, and he doesn't see it for another 6-7 hours. And he opens up his email all excited because he's getting something he signed up for. He like really wanted to see a cool new deal, and he opens it up and clicks it, and all the stuff that he wanted was sold out. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of a bad experience too. So like, from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense for me to do the one-offs and stuff, because it's like more expensive. It's a lot easier for me to make like a huge batch of one thing, for a lot of reasons. But it's fun. So I want to keep it like exciting for me, because I think that's how you guys are still interested, is we're doing new stuff, crazy stuff. I feel like we have a really unique opportunity with our relationship at Horween to like push out new ideas of leather into the world that I don't think is like even reasonable for anybody else to consider, because we're across the street from them and we're friendly, and my business partner Dan still works there, so he's sort of at the tip of the leather development, and then we can turn it into a product that same day. So it's kind of fun, where like the rest of the world has to develop a line of leathers, and then they have this like collection of products, and then they have to order the leather. It takes a month or two. They have to ship it across the world. It takes a couple weeks, and then they have to make the product there. It takes another couple weeks, and 2 months later, you finally have a product. So we're able to do new things. So like the stuff that we're putting out now, you're probably not going to see for a couple of years from other places. So that's like exciting for me. I'm a little selfish. Who's here? Chug the beer. Aaron's here. Good to see you, Aaron, and everybody else. So speaking of exciting, I have not really like kept this under wraps, but I've got a new belt design that we're starting to release. What's up, Max? Crazy stuff on the horizon. I have if you check out the video from Friday, I'm super excited about the raw denim, I'm calling it. It's the raw shell cordovan with a denim stain, and it's that same like matte finish on the raw shells that's like crazy. And we did 2 one-offs of this like marbled boxboard stuff on the shell that's really interesting. It's just like new textures and looks. But I've been wearing this belt for a long time now. So this is new for us too. This is a leather called Dublin, which is the same leather as on my wallet. But we're starting to do belts again, and I haven't, like I said, I've been sort of telling people that we're doing them, but we haven't really put it up on the site yet because Father's Day happened and COVID happened. Our shop, the neighborhood we're in, got affected by the riots and stuff, so it's pretty intense. Just been a little distracted, but this belt, it's interesting to think about a belt because, like, how are you going to change? What are you going to do to make this interesting? And I realized that you don't need to do anything. Like, I think that's where a lot of places mess it up is they take a nice material and they like put a bunch of stitching and stuff over it, or like try to stamp it in a certain way. But I figured, and it's kind of like all the wallets we do, I try to like just let the leather shine. And it's really inspired from the 1,000 Mile boot from Wolverine, where they don't put any nonsense on it. It's just like, that's a boot, like deal with it. Like there's nothing crazy about it. It's just a nice material. It's kind of like cooking. Like you don't want to, if you get a nice, like a really nice steak, you don't want to put too much crap on it. You just want a little salt and pepper and like sear it, and it should be pretty good. So we try to think of the leather in the same way and just try not to mess it up. So I've got the belts coming soon. I literally just need to take pictures of them and let you guys pre-order them because we'll make them to order for your size. But what's cool about these, not only is just a nice piece of leather, and we're using extra thick Horween stuff, and we're going to do it in Chrome Excel. But I thought it'd be fun because we're not the first person to do these holes. They're sort of like teardrop shapes. We're not the first people to do that, but I've always liked that idea because that's kind of like how the hole is going to wear in once it's buckled anyways. So we got the belts coming, and I'm really excited about them. We've kind of like retooled our shop to be able to make belts easily, which is another reason I've kind of delayed them. But just like a really clean, like casual belt. So I wear these with jeans and I love it. The people that have been wear testing them for me, and I'm not sure what it is, but there's something about the Chrome Excel and the Dublin belts that have this veg bite, I call it, where it's like firm yet soft. It's kind of makes no sense, or little sense until you feel it in person. But this leather has it wants to have a shape, but it easily is movable to that shape. So unlike being like a piece of cardboard where you couldn't really bend it like that, this is flexible yet still firm. It has like a bite to it. So I call that a veg bite. And the reason that I think that is what people are feeling, and the friends that have worn these have said they're just the most comfortable belts because they're not digging into their bodies. And I think that's just because the leather's nice. So we got a belt coming soon. I'm pretty pumped about the 100% Dublin wallets. So we got that cobalt blue, which I think sold out. We got this English tan, and we're going to try to do some natural Chrome Excel, 100% natural Chrome Excel. I have made a jacket, Max. I should do a video of that. Maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I made a jacket. It's like a motorcycle jacket. I'm just not cool enough to wear a jacket, a leather jacket. But yeah, where we're going, I think we had been doing that Latigo horsehide for the interiors of the Jonathan Fox. But I think I want to try to go to like matching the insides and outsides, kind of like this guy. And I feel like a lot of you guys think that's better or a better look. And everybody I've shown this to in person really enjoys this. And it has a ton of stuff. Like we have a ton of cards inside of here. And it's still like pretty compact. I like the Herbie more, but I can't tell if I like it because it's like mine. Like I made that like originally. But I like the way the cards are laid out over more surface area on the Herbie because I wear my wallet in my back pocket. So like this guy is just going to be thicker no matter what I do compared to a Herbie. Talk too much talking and not enough drinking. That box board was interesting, right? I think the box board marbled shell, I think that would look really cool on a shoe. Like it'd be pretty aggressive, but that texture really appears once you form the leather around a last, like around the shoe mold, which is called the last, or like it's like a form, and they stretch the leather around that. I think once you start to flex that leather, the texture of that marbled box board will show up. So the two people that were able to pick that up, you'll be able to see that right away. And that's really cool. Daniel, yes. So that's the other thing about our belts. We were doing a process before making the belts where we just click the whole thing in one click because it's just one huge strip. And we actually had, they kind of look like huge cookie cutters where we just click it out, right? But it's expensive to make tools for every size. But what we have now is we bought a really nice strap cutter. So we just cut the whole side of leather to get these 1.5 inch strips. And then we're able to cut it to any length. So I could make odd sizes. I could make you a 33-inch belt and we measure that to the middle hole, or I could make you a 52-inch belt. So we're able to do that now. The longer ones are going to have to be more expensive, not just because it's more material, but the bigger cost driver is the sides themselves aren't always that long. So we'll have to they're going to be more difficult to get longer strips. Like once you get past around 48, 50, they're going to be a little difficult to get those sizes because we have to add additional length beyond that for the fold over the buckle and then like the length of the tip of the belt beyond the holes. So longer ones are probably going to be a little bit more expensive, but I'm trying to keep these belts around $80. Like, I really think that there's a need for like a really nice casual belt around $60. I don't think I can do it that cheap. So if somebody's out there that wants a really nice business and you can figure out how to make belts inexpensively for $60, that's a really good business right now. I don't think there's anybody doing $50-$60 like decent belts. It's all kind of bad. And then like people like me are doing them like 100 plus, which is, it's hard. Like you don't realize, I did not realize how much work there is into making a belt. It seems simple, but it's a lot of work. Chug the beer. I'm keeping reading Daniel's message that said chug that beer. Let's see. Misker says, I got an order in for 100% black shell Johnny the Fox. Can't wait. Will be your first shell cordovan piece. Awesome, man. And that wallet is cool. You know what you might want to try that I've been trying? And hopefully I'm not showing my credit card information. Flip your cards backwards. So like any credit card that has those raised numbers, flip it backwards, because what you will see if you don't do that is the numbers will start to poke out the leather right here. And then when the wallet closes and you sit on it and it kind of goes like this, you'll get these scuffs right there. So I only have like, you can see this card's backwards. I'm trying this out and so far it's looking great, right? I see a lot of wallets that are worn in right where the letters and numbers are. So when you get your shell one in particular, definitely flip it backwards. And if you want it to stay really clean looking for the shell, it's going to be challenging. So I suggest don't worry about it and just sort of wear it and like see what the shell does. But if you want to keep that really clean shell look, you're going to have to dust off and like maybe not sit on it. It might be more of a front pocket or a bag wallet, because inevitably there's dust in the air or whatever will get on the leather, and that shell is actually abrasive against itself. So that same action, you'll get scuffs on the inside. You can kind of baby it and brush it like every day, which people do, and I've seen some good results from that. Like keeping the shell on the inside clean is a challenge. So I honestly, I just wear it and love it and not worry about it because I think it looks cool. But some people like a really clean shell look on the inside. And congrats on your first shell piece. It's a game changer. If you've never seen shell in person, like I got a bunch of shell here. Like here's a natural shell. Like the first thing you'll notice when you open the box is the smell. It just smells awesome. It's like a unique. It's strong yet like not overpowering. Like you immediately can tell it that it's there. Or like if I accidentally leave a wallet in my car and I open up my car, it just like smells awesome in the car. So you'll notice the smell first, and then something that I think a lot of people don't really talk about, or maybe it goes without saying, but like the feel is interesting. Like I was talking about the bite that the veg on that belt has. Horween shell in particular has like a really great like roundness to it, where a lot of the other shells in the world are like that cardboard that I was describing, where it's like firm but doesn't have any of that like roundness. So this is firm in the way that it wants to come back to its own shape. However, when you feel it in your hand, it's still like round and drapey, but it still wants to like hold and like has some rigidity to it. That's super fascinating. And then the obvious stuff is like the look. It's really shiny and bright. You can see this one I kept unpolished because I wanted to give you guys a demo of some stuff too. So Max said, have I considered making leather jackets? Yeah, I made 4 jackets about 6 or 7 years ago because I thought that would be a good business decision. And I have them at our workshop still, and it's awesome. It's made out of the same. We made a modification to the Latigo I use on the John the Fox interiors, the horsehide Latigo. I made a modification to that. I sprayed a UV protectant on it, so when you wear it in the sun, the color doesn't fade. And then I put a silky top coat to it, so it has like a really awesome feel. The problem with jackets are the same reason I'm not doing shoes is everybody's a different size and we're a small company. So having to figure out, everybody's individual size seemed like a challenge. And I don't understand how Thursday Boot does their jackets for whatever price they're selling. I'm actually going to look it up. Thursday Boot, you should check out Thursday Boot because it literally makes no sense how they can sell it for the price they do. So if you just type in Thursday Boot jacket, they have a jacket called the Racer jacket, which looks very similar to the one I made. It's $350. I can't even buy the leather. The leather cost alone is $350. So I don't know what they're doing, but my jacket would have to be like $1,200 for me to like pay people to make it. So it's things like that where it's like, you know what, that's just sort of not my thing. And if Thursday comes along and makes it for $350, I highly suggest that jacket for $350. It again, it makes no sense that they can sell it for $350. So that's my jacket story. Ball says, I'm ordering a UV bugs for your grandma. That's awesome. The UV bugs, and if you picked up the one with the reverse interior, which I believe is the only one on the site right now, that reverse interior is so cool. And I was actually looking at our site. I need to reshoot those photos because they're a little old. I kind of don't love the white background, transparent background stuff we had before. I like putting it on some denim so you get to like a sense of the size of like how big the wallet is on a pocket, but also there's something about like the blue in the denim that makes the color look a little bit more accurate because those photos do not do that ultraviolet reverse justice. That's kind of why I started doing the videos too. Daniel says, Matt gave me a heads up, a belt coming. Didn't recall if you guys would be making big sizes. Definitely making big sizes, and we'll hook you up. I think we're going to launch it with a sale price too. So make sure Matt gives you a sale price. Some dude says, when you said that in the video, I gave it a shot for myself. At least those top cards. Too early to tell how much different it makes. And I think you were talking about flipping the cards backwards on here. I don't know. I mean, I've seen it happen exactly where the letters and numbers of credit cards are. So I'd imagine that's the cause. I've been only wearing this for 2 weeks, and I haven't really seen any of that. But I've only had these cards flip backwards or smooth side. So it's really, Dublin's cool, man. Let's see what else you guys got. Max says, what beers from Chicagoland would you recommend to New Englanders? Chicago's really interesting. We have a lot of great beer. A lot. And I think you could literally just go to the store, to any grocery store, like a big box grocery store, even a Target, and just go to the section that says local and just throw a dart and you'd pick a great beer. There's so many good ones. This brewery called Off Color Brewery is my friend's. My friend runs their shop, and she's really cool. He gave me a tour a few times. They're awesome. They're connected physically. Their building is connected to another brewery called Pipeworks, which is really great. Lagunitas is a California brewery, but they have like a massive location here in Chicago. They're really good. The thing about Chicago is we have, and a lot of the Midwest region here, from here to like Ohio, we have all the Great Lakes, and the water. There's something about the water when they brew these beers that just makes them better. There's also like the hits like Three Floyds, which people get really into. There's another local guy here that is a leather fan. He's a Horween fan, the owner of Half Acre. They make really good beer. So when you come to Chicago, just send me an email and I'll give you a huge list. There's Maplewood, I love. There's so many good ones. Aaron says, Shell is really addicting. By the way, Phil, do you find anything cool in the pile for my third vault key case for my yellow car? Yes. And yes, I am busy, but I got you. I think would be cool with your yellow car would be this new raw denim shell. And if you look at Friday's video, I snuck it in there and I didn't do a big announcement, but we had a Bugs Moran in the raw denim. And then this week I have a couple other wallets coming in raw denim that I'll put up on the videos. It's so cool. It's like the raw shell, but with some color in it. So it starts off kind of raw, but the blue of the denim stain, that's the reason I call it raw denim, other than like crazy, like fortuitous marketing. It's raw shell cordovan with some denim stain. So Horween actually calls the blue color denim. So we're calling it raw denim. So it's like an unpolished shell in its most raw state with just a little bit of blue stain on it. It's cool. And I think that might go cool with yellow, like blue and yellow kind of always works. But if you have any other color ideas, just shoot me an idea of like, hey, I want something really crazy. I have crazy. We have a bunch of like textured shells that nobody's ever seen. I haven't even seen all of them. We just have a bin of stuff that we've collected over the last 9 years. Daniel says, can you explain the difference of horsehide in comparison to CXL? Well, that's an interesting question. And it's a really good question, Daniel. And it's confusing because the two questions that you're asking are like two different topics. So horsehide is just the animal that you're tanning the leather from. So we can also tan bison. We could also tan steer hides, cow hides, any animal. you can tan its skin. So that's one column of category, and we can combine those hides, steer hide, horse hide, whatever. We can combine that with things called tannages. So on the tannage column, I have things like shell cordovan, which you can only make on the shells. But I have like this is a veg. Let's just call that veg. We also have Dublin. So these are different tannages. There's something called a latigo. And like you pointed out, Chrome Excel is a leather tannage. So it's sort of like a variety. Think of it like that. There's sort of no good analogy, but it's like What would it be like? It's just like a different leather. And this is something that one of the reasons I started doing the videos is because before I started working at the tannery, I thought all the leathers were just like one thing. Like leather is one type, but there's so much to it. So it's like if you were making this shirt and you want to make a cotton shirt, that's one type, but you could also make like a polyester shirt. Um, those cotton, polyester, like other materials, that would be like the hide. But there's a way that they can treat this material once it's been woven and give it different characteristics. And that's sort of like the different tannages of leather. So when you ask, like, what's the difference between horsehide and chromexol? Well, they're not even comparable because horsehide can also be, you can have horsehide chromexol, which is what we're going to do when I make these Johnny the Foxes. In natural chromexol, I'm going to use a natural steer hide, which is inherently thicker for the outside, and I'm going to use a natural chromexol horsehide on the inside, which is inherently thinner. And Thursday Boot, I believe, I could be, I know for certain that Arrow makes jackets out of horsehide chromexol. So if you want to see what horsehide chromexol looks like, you can check out Arrow. But bottom line is, like, there's an infinite amount of leather tannages that they're called, and you can make it on any animal type. The biggest difference in the horsehide that I see is it's inherently thinner. And also, the animal is older typically before it is slaughtered, and horses are eaten for food in everywhere outside the United States. So because the animal has to age for more years of time before it's able to be processed into food, it has more chance to develop scuffs and scratches like on its hide. So because of that, the horse hides are less desirable because they're thinner, quite thin, and because they're more scratched up. So they're really rough. So you tend to not see a lot of it because of those two reasons. The characteristics of horsehide versus something like a steer hide, the grain on the horsehide is different. Like if you have a Johnny the Fox like this, that has horsehide on the inside and like steer hide on the outside, and if you look really closely at the hair holes or like the grain character of the leather, you'll see that the grain of the horse is much more pronounced and there's like more of it. It's just like very, very grainy. There's a lot of holes and they're more coarse. Sort of like if you look at pigskin, you'll notice that the hairs are like kind of scattered all over in little clumps. That's a characteristic of pigskin. So each animal has like a very different look of the actual grain. So I don't know if that was like too much of an answer for you, but it's really important to know that like each animal has a different skin, and then you can turn each of those skins into different tannages, like a football tannage. And those tannages give you certain characteristics, whether they be performance characteristics or tactile characteristics or like color. You can also impart color in the tannage. So that's a pretty long-winded explanation there. Let's see. Skyhook says, "Hey Phil, every day I wait for the notification of your videos. It's part of my day and very pleasant to see the leather quality before my eyes. Hope to acquire more, one or more soon. I look forward to that also. And definitely send me an email if you want some specific advice. I like to try to help people out. Like, if you just tell me what your style is and like how much stuff you carry, I should be able to get you something perfect. And it would be my pleasure to do that because it's a fun thing to be into. It's it's so much of a different world than like going to a Target. When I like Target, but like the products that you find everywhere else, like if you look at them side by side, the stuff that I make out of the Horween leather just doesn't compare, and it's just really special. And I wish, again, the reason I'm doing the channel, I'm so glad that you found it. But the reason I'm doing the channel is to put more eyeballs onto this stuff and try to demystify like this different language. It's like deciphering a different language. Like tannage. Like I didn't know what a tannage was 16 years ago. But it's really something special. And the coolest part is like there's nothing else in the world that you can use, like get utility out of and use it every day that actually gets better. And that blows my mind. Like for me, when this wears in, it's going to be cooler than the day I had it. Whereas like I love my iPhone and this is awesome. And I've had this for over 3 years, but this is going to get worse. And most things get worse. I like the leather because it gets better. I also like wood. I think wood gets a little bit better, but you don't really like carry a wood wallet with you all day. All right. Who's drinking? What are you guys drinking, by the way? This Apex Predator is pretty good. I had one of these yesterday, hanging out in the yard. Ball says, I'm dreaming of a Fat Herbie and UV shell with a yellow thread. I can make that for you, man. That's no problem. We do, actually, it's important I should bring this up. We do semi-custom orders. So if you want something like yellow thread, I can do that for you. If you want like a leather color combo, I can do all of it. Just this week, we started adding a 10% premium for that stuff. And that money, it should be more, to be honest with you. We've been doing it for free for a long time. What's up, Randy? We've been doing semi-custom stuff for no upcharge for years, and it's been fun. It's causing problems for us, like in a good way. Like it's much more expensive to make one thing than for me to even make like 5 things, because you have to set up each machine along the process to make that one item. And on top of that, like just to take the order, if it takes my brother Matt an hour of time, like how much do you want to pay my brother? Like, so he got to get paid too. So I trying to add a small fee of 10% to custom orders, which I think is really fair. And we like doing them. So I've been really struggling to hold off on doing that for a long time. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. But just this week, we started adding a 10% premium for anything that's not on the website that we have to make. So sold out items, if it's sold out, I'll make it for you for no upcharge. If it's like a standard offering for us. But if it's like a Fat Herbie with 4 different leather colors in it, I got to add 10%, which is, if it's a shell Herbie, we're talking about $30, which again, I think is super fair. But yeah, Ball, I can make you anything you want, man. Aaron, yeah. Ball says, I hope you do a raw UV shell sometime. Surprise. I actually have that. I have and I did not, this is the first announcement of it. I have the raw denim, which you've seen, but I also have a raw UV and I have a raw amaretto, and they're crazy. They're really cool. I think the raw denim was the coolest, but I do have raw of those 3 colors. Aaron says, wait, textured? Let's talk more through email. Absolutely. Send me an email, man. I got you. And Daniel, I'm glad that that explanation of horse hide and chrome excel was helpful. That's a really important question. I'm really glad that you asked that. Some dude 42 says, kind of intriguing to hear a random box of textured shells. Wasn't someone saying the shell was addictive before? Yeah, that's my problem. So Dan and I love the leather so much that we just buy the mistakes that Horween does because we think they're cool. And we've accumulated many thousands of dollars of leather that we just sit on because we like it, and we just look at it, and it's exciting for us. Like we get excited by seeing a nice piece of leather. And with Horween, they have a specific challenge of trying to fulfill orders for customers that are very large. So a customer like Timberland has to make 100,000 pair of boots or whatever. If Horween messes up one side that's like a little bit off, Timberland can't use it, but Ashland can use it. So we'll pop a texture in it or tumble it or try something crazy. And now we have something that we buy that Horween gets paid for, and they didn't have to throw out, essentially. So it's like a really good mutually beneficial relationship that we have with the tannery. And with the shells, sometimes that happens too, where it's like, hey, this shell's like a little this or a little that. Well, let's try. I really like the Western texture. Let's pop that in there. So I do that Western one a lot because I like it. So we'll try to help Horween out in that way, and they're good to us. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. But yeah, you know what I should do, some dude, is I should pull out that it's a huge bin of textured shells. There's a lot of them. I should pull those out because I've had people ask me about things that they've seen on the site. Like I had I think I had a Western ultraviolet shell like 8 months ago. Somebody saw it in one of the videos and like, do you have any more of that? And actually I did. And it's awesome. So we have our challenge is we have like too much good stuff. So it's hard to show it all off. Max Power says, any word on that Skip Horween special Fat Herbie from back in December? I don't remember. Can you help me remember what that was, Max? And let me take a note or look at my I've done 160 videos, I think, now. So I forget stuff. And it's been 160 videos since like October. So not even a year here. Drinking Budweiser, King of Beers. That's like a Chicago style beer right there. Yeah, some dude says, I'll be honest, I was kind of shocked when my custom order was regular retail. Sounds like I just made it under the wire with timing. Yeah, you did. It's weird. It's awkward for me to even bring up because like I don't think of myself as like a business still, which is like probably stupid for a business owner to say. Like I look at this as like a fun passion to like share with people. But my employees don't look at it like that all the time. So like they love it too, but like I got to get people to eat, you know. I want people to be able to pay their rent. So, you know, if it takes somebody a half a day to hand sew something, I got to charge for it cuz I want to pay them. So it's turning into something that wasn't expected. But regarding that question that you had, Max, I'm going to go back and look at my videos and I'll get back to you. If you could remind me what special Skip Horween Fat Herbie you're talking about was, I'll figure that out because I don't think I have anything pending for Skip right now. December 10th. Oh my God, I have so many videos. I'll find that while I read these here. Are there plans to make Western prints in other colors? Just Hume says that, asked that. And yeah, I really like that Western texture. And somebody actually caught my reference. There's a band called Opeth that has their O logo and it's kind of Westerned out. It's like kind of gothic looking almost. But that Western texture reminds me of the Opeth logo, which I really like. But yeah, we can do that texture on literally anything. It's whether or not somebody wants it. So if you have a shell that you want to see the Western in, if you want to buy something that you think would be really cool, I'll do it for you. It might just take a little bit of extra time. I'm looking for December 10th. Let's see. Shell's truly addicted. I started with a custom Fat Herbie and now I'm working on my third vault key case, and after then valet tray. Watch out. Yeah, I like to. So like I have a valet tray here, and it's like full reject. Like you guys should see how bad this one is. This is a black shell, but like I flipped it backwards, so it's like inverted. Because usually we have the stamp like showing on the inside of the tray. This leather is so bad. There's like holes in it. Like look at this huge hole. So I just use it to like carry all my guitar picks and stuff. You know, like I have this fistful of guitar picks that I just throw in here. So I don't encourage you to buy stuff that you don't need. And having said that, like a lot of people that collect stuff from us like help keep people employed, so I appreciate it. But I don't like to push product to people that don't need stuff. So yeah, it's an addiction. Actually, luckily, like it seems that there's a nice secondhand market for my products. So, if somebody buys a shell wallet, they can often resell it later, even after being used for a good price, which is kind of awesome. Some dude says, I don't know. That's how you guys got textured shells. That's really cool. Yeah, Horween has, and I should do a video of this. After Corona lockdown, all that stuff, I'll go to the tannery with my camera and I'll take a video of, there's hundreds of textures that Horween has. And Marco, who I see in the chat here, what's up, Marco? Marco works at Horween. I don't know how much you go up to finishing, Marco, but there's hundreds of texture plates that Horween has. Some of them are kind of boring, but there's hundreds of different textures. You've probably seen just the ones that are the best, like the Western and the Croc and stuff. There's a box. The box board's really cool too. But there's so many, I should do a video on it. And Max, I found the video you're talking about here, but I'm not gonna be able to listen to it. Max, can you give me a timestamp of what you're talking about in the December 10th video? I'll figure that out. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Gotta say, I keep checking out amps in the background. Dude, these are speaker cabinets, and they're really fancy bass speaker cabinets. And one of them has a piece of drywall or a floor trim on it because I had flooding in my basement. So I had to like check that the water didn't get up on the drywall. So I like haven't put that piece back. So there's a piece of floor trim right there. And this keyboard I'm selling on Facebook. Somebody's coming by tomorrow to get it. That's my wife's brother's keyboard that he wanted to sell that we've had sitting in our house for 10 years. But that speaker cabinet sits on top of this other speaker cabinet. So it's like a stack of speakers. 640 right at the end. Those speaker cabinets are like the dream. They're so hi-fi sounding. It's by a company called Epiphany or Epiphany. I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but those are the model is called Tour 210 by Epiphany. If you want to check those out, they're really good bass cabs. And there's actually no amplifier on them right now because my amp's at my practice space. So yeah, those are awesome. I suck because I never use them. They're just sitting there, and it bums me out. All right, so Max Power is asking about this video here. I'm gonna link it. You know what that is, Max? That is a. I don't remember. I'm probably talking about it in the video and I can't hear it, but I'll link it for anybody that wants to see. We'll share it at the timestamp. So I went back a little earlier than you to like 6 minutes. It's got this really cool textured shell, it looks like. And that shell has something that I call a tipped effect. That's kind of like on the exterior top right of it, it kind of has like this string print. So I think what Skip did was he printed the shell with what we call the string print, which is kind of like these snaky looking, it looks like wood grain that kind of snakes this way. I think he printed it one direction and then printed it again this other direction. So you get this like checked look of texture. And it's kind of like a boarded print. A lot of people don't like that texture because it reminds them of loose grain on that top right exterior corner. And Chrome Excel, if you cut it wrong, like a lot of shoemakers do, you get that look where your toe flexes. So like right here on your foot, when your foot flexes up and down when you're walking, the leather actually gets that pipey sort of coarse break, we call it. And a lot of people don't like that. And that looks like a print that they were trying to mock that look. They were trying to come up with that look. And then he printed it twice in opposite directions. So, and then he tipped it with something. I bet he burnished the tips. So I don't remember that. I'll ask him. I'll keep this open as a reminder and ask him what he's doing with that. That's a good question. Marco, how's it going over there at Horween? Are you guys keeping safe and like staying 6 feet apart? I don't really know what's going on over there, but I hope you're staying safe. Brian Reef says Master's Apprentice equals best Opeth song. Wow. So you're in, I think Master's Apprentice, is that like one of the newer like 70s prog Opeth tracks? I don't remember that track. Because I kind of like Blackwater Park and like the more brutal like death metal stuff. But yeah, and cheers, Brian, and cheers to everybody else too. I noticed like the camera makes my face look really red, which I haven't even drank this whole beer, so that'd be surprising if it's making me red. And Randy Bond, it's really good to see you. Randy says, then I guess I'm a collector because I've gotten 14 pieces from y'all. And that's a lot of wallets. You have a lot of pockets. And what I've found is that many times I use the ones I haven't worn yet as a birthday gift for close friends and family, or family and friends. And Randy, I appreciate you so much, man. It's cool. There is something special about it. And that's why I have, like I said, this whole like table full of wallets here. There's something special about each of them that's why I started making the wallets in the first place. It's like I wanted to experience them for myself. So I get that sense that you probably have where you like want to check it out. I feel bad like I want to send you a wallet and I want to take your money and I want to pay my people. But there's like this weird ethical thing that I sometimes feel where it's like, okay, I know this person doesn't need another wallet. Because sometimes I'll have people tell me like, hey, can I hold off on paying because I got to buy food? And I just tell the person like, please buy food. Like, don't buy a wallet from me. Like, I want you to eat. So sometimes that happens. It's a weird business, man. But it's a special material. So yeah, let me show you this. And Max, thanks for coming to hang out, man. Cheers. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. This leather, listen to it. Can you hear that? This is a leather that I was calling raw veg. So my original idea was to try to sell this product with the raw shell. So you can see this is several years in the works. I've been thinking about this. I can still do this. I haven't figured out with the tannery a reliable way to get the thickness correct. Because what this is what we call a horsehide strip. And the horsehide strip is the non-shell area, that non-dense shell membrane area of the horse hindquarters, horse butt. That's not shell. So this is the area that is tanned alongside the shell, but it's not the dense shell itself. So they kind of look like little mustaches. They're called strips, or they call them horsehide strips at the tannery. And this was very dull and not interesting to begin with. You can see now it's like bright, and even the break is like this little part here where it creases. That's what we call the break. It's like a sugary break where it's like almost like a sparkly like candy look or something. So the raw veg, this started off kind of like the raw shell and has aged in a very interesting way. And the other thing that I noticed, see right here, that's my denim that is rubbed off onto this just from wearing it. Like when it gets humid and I get sweaty and gross, the color kind of rubs off my pants onto the leather. And the other thing that's weird about this one that I don't know is like a full negative is the squeak itself. And you can tell a veg is a veg, like if it has that sound to it. Shell makes that sound. Let's see if this one does it. So this is a shell cordovan fat Herbie double reverse in natural shell. Right? It sounds a little higher pitched than this one. And maybe it's about the same. Right? It's like, it's weird. So again, like I'm not sure if this is a negative, but it kind of sounds like you're wearing a diaper. Like when you're walking around. So I think that's funny. It doesn't really make that much noise because you're never like, your legs are never going like this. You're kind of just going like a little bit back and forth. So it kind of sounds like that when you walk. It does make noise. So veg makes noise. Aaron says, Phil, sometimes people just buy multiple things because they appreciate such an honest and tangibly human-centered company. Anyone can make leather goods, only Matt and Phil with their team. Thanks, man. Dude, that means a lot. And I appreciate that. Having said that, it does, people collecting really keeps people employed. Like, you can see my basement here. I'm not like a Donald Trump, like everything covered in gold kind of guy. I mean, I'm not living on the street, but the goal is to like make these talented team members I have, the people that work with me, to get them some more money too. That's really, honestly, that's like the main thing, is like to make an ecosystem where like I make something that you think is cool, you buy it, and then I pay people to keep making awesome stuff. And that's the whole goal. JR, what's up, JR? And we're not only talking leather, but we're also drinking. I'm going to probably finish this one and head out because it's 9:00 and I didn't eat any food. All right. Does Dublin make the sound? Well, you know what? I have a Dublin Herbie right here. Dublin I have found to not make it as much, but let's see. Nope. Dublin's a veg. I think it's just like a little, it's retanned a little differently. So yeah, I don't know if you can hear anything. No squeaks compared to like immediate squeaks. So there's something different in the Dublin. I think they have a veg tan, and then the retannage that they do on the Dublin is a lot of oils. So it's like softer, and then when they come back and finish the Dublin, it's almost like a paraffin wax, like a really hard wax that they put on the surface. That gives it like a little bit of its bite back. I don't know why it doesn't squeak, to be honest with you. Brian, how many bills? Brian says, how many bills does the Tony the Ant hold comfortably? Big front pocket guy, but needs to carry greenbacks. I would suggest the Tony for that, and actually have a Tony right here. So let's load one up. This is the challenge with loading these up on the camera, because is that these have never been used before. So like there's a little bit of break-in that happens, but let's see how rich I am. And why the oils? You want to nourish the fibers of the leather in after you've taken them out. So tanning leather, to like really dumb it down for you, Ball. When you tan a side of leather or you take a skin of an animal, we want to take out all the fats that will rot away and like deteriorate just naturally over time. So we take out all those fats, and then we replace the fats again. So if you don't replace the fats, the leather is like a chip, like it's like a potato chip. There's nothing in it to lubricate the fibers inside of that substrate to like move it around. So we have to re-tan it with oils to give it a little bit more like roundness and flexibility to it. All right, so I'm super rich, right? I've got 100 and, all right, let's just count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 greenbacks. And this is a Tony the Ant. And again, like, this is kind of a crap demo because it's not worn in. So like usually the first time you put it in is the worst. But I got 11 bills here going in. And it's a little difficult getting it in because this one bill is creased like crazy. So let's say 10 bills easily got in. And that's what it looks like inside there. So that's 10 bills in the back. You can easily fit twice that much. The thing that I notice that happens is when you start putting more credit cards in these slots, it's really interesting. It's almost like it wants to carry less cash. And I think that's like because of how this moves. So if you only have a couple cards, which you probably don't, like this is the minimum I have. So there's 6 in the front there and then like another 10 in the hidden slots. So what, 16 cards? Like if you're putting 4 in each of these slots, you probably can't do more than like 15 bills with and still use it comfortably. Having said that, like you can do anything and the leather is very forgiving and it will start to form around whatever you put in there. So it's hard for me to say like what it fits because I can mislead you and say it will fit 100 bills, but like you can't use any cards. So it's challenging. It's challenging. However, Brian had a really good question. If you're a front pocket wallet guy, this is great because if you want a dedicated bill slot, I suggest the Tony the Ant. It's a little bit smaller. And like maybe it's not that small though, because there's the Johnny the Fox is like about the same. Like it's about the same size. So if you really want small in the front pocket, you could do like I have I only have Tony's here. Oh, here's the Bugs. So I have a Bugs Moran. If you really want compact, this Bugs Moran is just smaller than the Tony the Ant, and it's like a half-inch more narrow. I'm trying to demonstrate that. I don't know if you can tell, but the Tony the Ant in the back here comes out a little farther. It's just bigger. Here you go. That's probably a better way to look at it. So the Bugs Moran, you can fit cash in, but only folded in half in the larger 2 slots. So it kind of goes like this. Here's that terrible $5 bill. And you just put it like in the larger slot. And again, this is like not broken in, so it's a terrible demo. But that's how it looks, and then you just close it. It's fine. So you can do bills like that. But if you want a dedicated slot, I like the Tony. Both of these are good front pocket wallets. And Aaron, the spaghetti analogy is really good. Like, imagine dried out spaghetti, like uncooked spaghetti. It's just going to crack. So that's often what we see with like improperly tanned leather is once you flex it, like if you're wearing a shoe, it cracks. Like the grain layer can't flex anymore and it pops. So think about something going like this and it just like opens up and it looks terrible. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. It's been over an hour. We still got people here. It's very fun. I always feel like I love doing these things and then I just don't do them because I run out of time. But I appreciate you guys and I'm glad that you're here. And it's fun. It's fun to talk about this stuff for me. So I hope you guys learned a little bit about some stuff. And hopefully they drink some good beer too. So let's wrap it up here. You guys got any other questions before I take off? I'd definitely be back on Monday with another normal video like I normally do with some of the stuff we ship out. And usually Mondays are very packed full of stuff because we have all the orders from over the weekend that go in that video. So those videos are there's a lot. So you should have a lot of good stuff in there. Let's see what you guys are saying. Aaron has given a good description of like what leather tanning is. It's weird. Like most people don't know it because they have no reason to know it. Ball says it's a shame Frank the Enforcer doesn't hold Japanese bills. Yeah. It's kind of like our chat earlier where like you can't make everybody happy. Although like I do want to do more internationally suited items. Like the Fat Herbie is good for most people. Although a lot of people in Japan are really into the Tony the Ant. Here's a blue Tony, but they like this bill slot to come all the way up to the top. And we've been selling like hundreds of those to Japan. So I think there's, more people to share that with. Somebody just sent me like a intercom, what's it called on your Apple Watch? Like a walkie-talkie. That's rude. All right, guys. Thank you again for chatting with me and hanging out. It's a pleasure for me. So the 18 people that are still hanging out, I really appreciate you guys. Definitely, you can leave a comment here. Send me an email if you guys need anything. My email address is Phil, PHIL, @Ashland Leather. Yeah, I think my wife is walkie-talking me, so that's a good cue to go. Maybe she'll say something. Hello, my wife. Hopefully she doesn't say something embarrassing.
Hi, Beeb. I just wanted to check in. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm on a live stream, and so are you. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.